with the police. So he need to finish some business with the policeman. But yeah, but I will
Okay.
record this
Is it
meeting
something
and
serious?
sorry.
Okay. Is it something serious?
Uh, yes and no, because because he's the official archaeologist of the. So because Yogyakarta, the city where we live, it used to be a kingdom, and the kingdom still have king, but not really a monarch. But this kingdom now become part of our nation, Indonesian Republic, but they still have a lot of lands. So sometimes the
Mhm.
lands, like some people like lease it for 100 years, and sometimes complication happen. So yeah, he's the one who managed that, try to give probably like a legal ownership of the land. So in
Mhm.
the lawsuit,
Okay.
it will settle. Yeah, probably that's how I understand it.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Well, I guess we can. Why don't we open up with prayer,
Oh
and
yes,
then we can get started. Sound good?
absolutely.
Okay. I'll say a quick word of prayer.
Yeah,
Almighty God, we thank you for this time we can spend together, that we can spend learning about the nature of Hebrew, the language in which your word was written. We thank you for the blessing of people who have gone before us and who have studied these things and who have
yeah,
provided us with the ability to learn about it. We just thank you, God. We thank you for the blessing of your word. Help us to learn. Help us to help. Please bless this course, and please let it be a blessing to us in helping us to know your word more
yeah,
deeply. God, we ask that you be with our brother Agung. We ask that everything go well with this interaction with the police, with this matter of land. We just ask that you put your hand on it, that you give him favor and blessing in this, and that things work out, God, in a way that will be uh, good for him. And we thank you for your hand of protection and for your blessings to us. We ask that you forgive our sins as we
yeah,
forgive those who sin against us,
yeah.
and help us to be the light in the world you've called us to be. Amen.
Amen, amen.
Okay. So, have you had time to look at that quiz that I sent you? Or
Yes,
have
yes.
you already done the quiz?
I have done the quiz, but
Okay.
I
Okay.
forgot to do the Hebrew, the Hebrew English.
Okay. Right. Right. Okay. Well, that's okay. You can send me the quiz
Hmm.
like today or tomorrow or whatever,
Yes.
and I'll get that back to you
Yeah.
probably next week or just in a few days.
Yes.
Yeah, not next week. Today's only Tuesday, so yeah, in a few days I'll get that back to you.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, the Heblish, you can just send that to me when you have it ready.
Yes.
Um, okay, so that's good. Did you have any questions about the quiz or about any of the material that we've gone over, lessons 1 through 4? Anything on Thursday, for example?
Mm.
And if something comes to mind, you can just bring it up later too.
Uh, yes. I mean, yeah, the Siva is interesting. The composite and
Right.
yeah, probably need more practice on, where the Siva is silent and where the Siva is. I know it's been
Okay.
explained like, in the middle, but in the
Yeah.
end, it will it will
Right. Right.
silent. But yeah,
Um,
probably need more practice on it.
yeah. It's Yeah, okay. And I think it'll make more sense too once you start kind of getting into vocabulary and looking at the actual like sentences and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
When you start applying it, it should sort of just kind of make more sense, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something that you get used to the more that you use it in actual context. It can be kind of I don't know, like it's a little bit strange to study just these little parts of the language just in themselves.
Mm.
It's sort of like I said the other week, but like once you sort of put it together, it starts to flow a bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
But okay, did you want to go over some of the Shiva? Like for me to sort of go through that a little bit, or
Yeah, probably that would be helpful.
okay,
Just a little bit.
okay, yeah, okay. So we know that the Shiva is just these two little dots. So for lesson 3 here, it looks like a colon. It makes the sound up, that Shiva sound. In English, we actually have the word schwa, and we draw it like an upside down E. Have you ever seen those like phonetic things where it's trying to tell you how you pronounce it? And so it's writing out, and like the upside down E, that's the sound. It appears, let's see, on page 5, we have the word burith, which is covenant. The Shiva at the beginning of a word will be vocal. You're going to say it. So it'll be burith. I believe that's universal. In Hebrew, as with any language, there are exceptions to things, but I believe that always, when the Shiva is at the beginning of the word, it is vocal. It will make the noise. Okay. Now this is saying when a simple Shiva is beneath a consonant that closes a syllable, it is silent. So what that means is like, if you have one syllable, so like you can kind of clap out the syllable. We have here es rim, so like es rim, so 2 syllables. Because it's at the end of a syllable, es, and it ends with a consonant, that's sin, it is silent. So that would be silent. Okay, and as a general rule, let's go here. A simple Shiva is silent if it immediately follows a short vowel. So a short vowel. So that would be the pathach. Let's go back and see here. The pathach, the segol, hirek, kametz katuf, and kibbutz. So that a, e, o, and u, the short vowels. That's on page 3, the vowel pointings. So normally it will be silent after those. And I believe the opposite is also true. If you have a long vowel, usually it will be vocal. But yeah, a closed syllable, and we'll talk some about that in this next lesson, actually. Yeah, we will in lesson 5. But a closed syllable, and you should already have the video on that too, but that's what we're going to go through. We'll go through lessons 5 and 6 today. And we'll probably look at a few of the next lessons, maybe just kind of go a little. A closed syllable ends in a consonant. So let me draw that out. I saw something helpful the other day on a video. I was looking up some things about specifically the kametz katuf, which I talked about in that video some. We'll talk about it again today. We have the consonant, vowel, consonant. So for example, let's draw out here. Click. Okay. So this is the example that we just saw a minute ago. The S is in esrim. So consonant, vowel, consonant. Ayin, vowel sound, consonant. So that's what I mean by CVC, consonant, vowel, consonant. So in this case, the Shiva is silent because it's a closed syllable. Closed syllable will be consonant, vowel, consonant. Like consonant, vowel, consonant. That kind of makes sense.
When you're saying close, it means like a like the one who ending the first syllable. Is that what you're saying?
When I say closed, it's a special term that they're using that just is defined as it ends in a consonant. It will end in a consonant rather than a vowel. You can think of it this way, because you're ending in a consonant. Let's go back to this example. Instead of just ending in e, if the whole syllable were just, let's say we take off this part and say the whole syllable is just e, that would be an open, because it ends in a vowel, and your mouth would be open too. It's like
I
eh.
see.
And but if it's closed, your mouth will be more closed, like S.
S. I see.
You can kind of think of it that way. I don't think that's part of the definition, but that can kind of be a sort of a tool to remember it. Like in closed syllables, you're going to be closing it off with a consonant sound. So another example would be like ek. Like if you had a kaf at the end. Let's do that real quick. Again, like ek.
Ek.
So that would be a closed syllable. And anything, and it doesn't have to be obviously the E vowel. You could have it be, say, the hirek. Let's say ik. Ik. So it can be any vowel. If this were a kametz, then it would be the kametz katuf, so it would be ok. Ok. So it is kind of O sound for that. So does that kind of make sense? Was that helpful?
Yeah, perhaps because I don't know. Perhaps
Okay.
I'm not really onto linguistic, so
Okay.
that term of close and open is something new for me. Yeah.
Right. Well, and I hadn't been exposed to the term open and close before this grammar, before Hebrew. Even though I had studied like English, some English linguistic stuff, Spanish. So I think this is, I mean, I just hadn't come across it, but it's kind of just like a special definition where they use the word closed, but kind of just have to know that it means it ends in a consonant. So it's just they're defining.
So you're saying that the end with the sound of the consonant, right?
It will end with the sound of the consonant. And it will also, there will be the consonant there.
Okay, yeah.
Does that kind of make sense? So like it will be written and it will be pronounced.
Yes, I see.
I believe that should be universal. Again, with Hebrew, there's always exceptions to rules in grammar and stuff. But I believe that will be how it works.
Okay.
Pretty much all the time. I think that's how it will always work, but it's hard to say that about language.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Any other questions about this? Do you feel like this is kind of helpful? And an open one is just it ends in the vowel sound. So there might be a consonant next to it, but you won't pronounce that consonant sound. That will be part of the next syllable.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we go into lesson 5, because this will cover some more stuff on syllables too. So I think that question actually segues pretty nicely into the first lesson. So lesson 5, so on page 7. Every syllable must begin with a consonant and have one and only one full vowel. This definition means that the sheva cannot support a syllable since it is not a full vowel. And again, that's just a definition. You could argue, like if you wanted to make your own definition, maybe you could say, well, I say the sheva does count as a full syllable, but that's not how they are defining it here. And it may have something to do with just the nature of how these words have been divided up by scholars through the years, and perhaps with the language itself. Again, this is just, you just kind of have to learn the definition. Sheva, not considered a full vowel. A syllable that ends with a vowel is an open syllable. That open, and it'll have that open sound, like e, a. If you start it with beth, it'd be like be, ba, bi, bi. All those would be open syllable. A syllable that ends in a consonant is a closed syllable. So let's take the beth again, that sound. If you had like big, bug, beg, beck, bil, anything that has a consonant, vowel, consonant sound, that's closed. The word davar has 2 syllables. The first syllable, da, is an open syllable ending with a vowel. The second syllable, var, is a closed syllable ending with a consonant. So da, var. And you can sort of clap out syllables, like da, var.
Davar.
That can be a helpful way of dividing up syllables. Is you just kind of clap it out, like da, var, es, rim, o, lam, that kind of thing. Okay. An easy way to divide a word into syllables is to start at the end of the word. So this is another method of discerning these syllables in a word. Find the first full vowel, which will be the pointing sign underneath the letters, and include the consonant before it. And when it says before it, it's like above it. This forms a syllable. Continue to work forward through the word in this way. So you'll start on the left side and you'll be moving to the right because you're going in reverse order. And it has an example here. It says the result normally will divide the word into syllables properly. So example, consider the word olam. Olam.
Olam.
Starting at the end of the word, the first full vowel is a, that kamets. So you see that there. The consonant before it is lamed, that the So then we know that this is a syllable then. So this lam is one
Lam.
syllable.
With
Okay.
mem?
So then moving forward, moving to the right, the next vowel is the holem full, that o sound.
Oh, holem
And
full, yeah.
you feel the vav with a dot over it, with the consonant before it being ayin, which is silent pronunciation. Thus, the word is divided as o lam, o lam.
Lam.
So you feel like that makes sense?
Yeah,
That explanation of it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay,
make
I know
sense,
that. Okay, cool. When I was first exposed to this, I found this a little bit tricky. I just wanted to just clap out the syllables because that's what I had learned before. So I just want to make sure that this is making good sense.
Yes.
Okay, good deal. Note, a closed, unaccented syllable must have a short vowel. So this is where the kametz katuf comes in and where you can recognize the difference there. A closed, unaccented syllable. So closed, consonant, vowel, consonant, bag, bag, bik. It's unaccented, unaccented.
What do you
We
mean
haven't
by
really talked about
unaccented?
what now?
You say unaccented. It means like that to
Right.
emphasizing or something like that.
Yes, it would mean to emphasize, and we haven't talked about that yet. But let me see here. Let's go back to the word davar.
Davar, yeah.
It's on this page near the top there. So the syllable da is not accented. It does not receive the emphasis. Var does receive the emphasis. So it's not davar, it's davar.
Davar.
Right. So the var sound gets the emphasis. It's like in the word emphasis, the emphasis is on the first syllable in the English word. So emphasis.
Yes.
It's not emphasis. It's not emphasis. It's emphasis.
Emphasis.
So that is the same in Hebrew, where certain parts of the word will have emphasis and the other parts will not. Just like in English, and just like in, I think pretty much every language has this emphasis. And
Yes.
in Hebrew, fortunately, it's pretty regular how it works, where the emphasis will usually be on the last syllable.
The last syllable. I see.
Yeah. That is the normal rule for emphasis in Hebrew. When the emphasis is on a different part of the word, we'll usually have a sign over it. It looks, I believe it is kind of like a left pointing arrow, like that. So if it fell here, the emphasis, then they would put it there. So let's say that the word davar, it normally will have the emphasis on this syllable. through that badly, but this syllable, davar. So we could put an accent mark there. We don't have to because that's how it normally works.
I see.
So if it's on the final syllable, they don't put it there. But if we had it on the first syllable, if this word were pronounced davar, or davar, then
Yeah.
you would put, okay?
Mhm.
So if a closed, unaccented syllable, if that's what's happening there, then it will have a short vowel. If the vowel kametz appears in a closed, unaccented syllable, it is a kametz katuf. It will be like an o kind of sound. Kametz o. A short vowel rather than a kametz a long vowel. And this is how the two vowels are distinguished from each other. So if you have that consonant, vowel, consonant, and it's unaccented. So normally what that will mean is if it comes in an earlier part of the word. So it's not the last syllable. So this is somewhat rare. Like it's you're not going to run across these in every passage, I don't think. But there are a couple of common words that do use it. So it's good to go ahead and see those ones, I think. So we have one word is kol, which means all, like ALL, like all of them.
Cold.
So that one has the kametz,
Uh-huh.
but
Next.
it is an unaccented syllable and it ends in a consonant. So consonant, vowel, consonant.
Vowel
So it
consonant, yeah.
is kametz katuf. Will be
What's
pronounced kol.
sorry, what's that the sign in the end of lamet?
Oh, right. This, if I'm remembering right, this is called the makef. It is a little dash that you put that it connects it to the next word. It's like a little connecting line.
Yeah. For the next syllable.
Well, it connects it to the next word.
I
It
see.
connects it to the next word. So I believe that, let me see here. I might not be getting this exactly, but again, I kind of drew this a little bit poorly, but we have like kol haaretz. Kol haaretz.
Yeah.
That would be all the earth.
I see.
So this will appear a pretty good bit. So when you have this kol, it's I believe it always will have the little makef, this dash that connects it to the next word, because you can kind of think of it as like one phrase, like one word phrase. So kol haaretz, that would be that. You can also spell that word for all as kol. So instead of kol, the long O sound. Sometimes they'll draw it with
Holem.
long O. Yeah, the holem. Sometimes it'll be like that, and then it will not have the makef. Should not have the makef then, the little connecting dash. Okay, so that's a real common one, and that will use the kametz katuf. So we have the O's. And another one that I'll point out is chokmah, which is wisdom. So that one will appear a pretty good bit. Chokmah. So it is drawn like that. It's kef, kaf, mem, he. Chokmah. I believe that should be right. I haven't looked that up again, but you can notice the shiva there. It is silent. It's in the closed syllable. The first syllable ends in the consonant, and the shiva is silent. So it's not kokama, but it's kokma.
Silent, yeah.
I believe there actually is some debate on this one, like should it be pronounced kokama? But something, or kakama. So that might not be the best example, but normally when it ends in the consonant there, it will be silent. Okay, so those are two really common ones that you will come across.
Yes.
Especially that one is
Oh.
pretty normal to find. And then obviously like proverbs and stuff like that will have the word for wisdom appear pretty regular. Okay, so here, so it's a short vowel rather than ekamet's a, the long vowel, and that's how you distinguish them from each other. Yeah. Okay, so I think that should basically cover that. So let's go through these words here, and I'm going to pronounce a few of these, and then I want you to pronounce some of them also.
Yes.
So I'm going to start on the left side on the first column here, and you can sort of repeat after me, and then I'm going to let you pronounce some of them.
Yes.
So pronounce the following words which have been divided into syllables. Katal, katal.
Katal.
Okay. Me'adam,
Me'adam.
me'adam.
Me'adam. Yeah. Me'adam.
Yeah, me'adam. And the daleth here is the rather than da.
Yeah. Yeah.
Soft daleth.
Me'adam.
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 Okay. Next one, melek, melek,
Melek.
melek. And this one is the accent is on the first part. Have you noticed a little accent mark over the me? that?
Oh yes, yes, yes. The
Okay.
me.
So this is it is pronounced with the emphasis on the first part of the word. So they give you the little accent mark there. That is melek,
Melek. Yes.
king.
King. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go through the next column. Ishto.
Ishto. Ishto.
Malak. Malak.
Malak. Angel.
Well, malak, I believe this is a word meaning to send. But yeah, the word for angel is taken from this word as well. Okay. I'd have to check on that, but yes. Av. Av. Which is father. Okay, so I'm gonna let you pronounce the next two columns. Okay, so just whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hesed.
And this one's a tricky one. The accent is on the first part.
Oh, sorry. So
That's
this
good.
is Kesed. Kesed.
Yes. Chesed.
Kesed.
Chesed.
Kesed. Yes.
Which is like loving kindness. Okay.
Okay.
Next one.
Elohim.
Yes. Very good. Elohim.
Is that the
Okay,
first
next.
one? I'm sorry. That one is the first letter with Segol and Sifa, right? Aleph.
Yes, that is the. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's Aleph.
Aleph. It has the Sifa composite. So you read it quick. Elohim or Elohim, like a long.
It's
like,
not long. It's not
okay.
long, so it is kind of a shorter sound.
Okay.
Yeah, so you pronounced it well. It's Elohim. Elohim.
Elohim. Okay. Second one. Betok. Betok.
It's close. Bethok.
Oh, yes,
Bethok.
Segol. Yes. Betok. Betok. Yes.
Yes. Bethok. So it is the
Bethok.
long O. That Holem.
Holem, yeah.
Okay.
Holem both. Next one. Yeah. Yarden.
Very good. Yes. You got the silent Shiva. So it's
Okay.
Yarden.
Oh, Yarden. Ah, yes, yes.
Correctly.
That's
Jordan.
Jordan. Ah, the river Jordan. Okay. I
Right,
see. I
right.
see. Okay.
Okay, next one.
Lo.
Very good. Lo.
Lo.
That is
Oh,
a
lo.
negative particle.
Oh,
Not.
yes. Yeah. And this one, Yom.
Very good. Yom. Yom. Word for day.
For days. Yeah.
Yom.
Yom.
Okay. I'm gonna go through the next two columns here. So we'll do these two together on the next page, on page 8, and then I'll let you finish off the last 4. Okay. The first one here is anachnu. Anachnu.
Anaknu. Anaknu. Anaknu.
Yes. Okay. Next one, avadim. Avadim.
Avadim. Avadim.
Avadim.
Mm.
Okay. The next one, kalom. Kalom.
Halom. When you pronounce cat, you pronounce sounds like hates, because without that dagesh forte.
This one does not take a dagesh forte because it is the guttural.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Probably I'm just kind of varying slightly in my pronunciation of it, but ideally it's pronounced something like kalom. Kalom.
Halom. Oh yeah.
It's kind of like it's kind of like a C sound with an H sound almost, and it's produced kind of in the throat. Ka. So kalom. So
Halom.
sometimes it might kind of sound like an H, or sometimes it might kind of sound like a C, just sort of depending on how I happen to pronounce it. But it's something like kalom.
Halom. Halom. Yes. Yeah. Without dagesh forte. Yeah.
Okay. This next one, avdo.
Abdo.
Okay, so I'm going to let you do these last ones here, the last two columns.
Okay. Barut. Barut.
Very good. Baruch.
Baruch. Baruch. And Avraham.
Very good.
Abraham. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good
Okay.
one. Next one.
Ketal Tham.
Yes, that's Kutal Tam.
Ketal. Yes. Sorry. Seva is ke. Yeah. I keep forgetting Seva pronounced not a. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Ketal Tham. Okay. And then Yisberu. Yisberu.
Yes. Yes. Good.
Yisberu.
Okay. Very good. So, I will just let you do this exercise 2 on your own. Have you already completed this exercise, or have you waited for this one? Exercise 2 here.
I've tried that, but I'm not writing it. I'm just practice it without writing it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to write out all the words. You can draw lines between them. It's kind of already done for you because this is for my copy of it, but it should be kind of lightly.
Yes.
But yes, that's fine. You can just do this one orally because that's the point of it. But yeah, if it helps you, you can draw lines through it. So I'll let you do those just on your own. I will point out number 2 here is Yishmaru, because that one can be tricky with the Shavas.
Number 2?
Because the first one is silent. So if you're looking at this as a grid, on the upper right-hand corner, we have Anoki, and then one to the left of that is Yishmaru.
Yeah. Anuki, Yismeru. Yeah. Yismeru. Yeah.
Figured I'd point that out real quick. because it is the silent shiva and then the vocal shiva. So that one can be a little bit tricky. Okay, very good. Any questions on this lesson?
So far so good. I think I just need to remember, like the one that I missed about Siva means to pronounce rather than a, and then the letters without dagesh forte like ke, he, and aleph, ayin, and res, I believe, without dagesh forte. Yeah, I need to remember that too.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I have more questions for this. Yeah, I need to do more practice. I think. Yeah.
Yes, some of the letters they will not take the dagesh, and that's back in lesson 4. Yeah. So basically the guttural letters. If you produce it kind of in your throat, or if it's those two silents, ayin and aleph, they won't take.
Yeah.
Then you're right, resh also. Lesson 6. And go to the definite article. Hebrew does not have an indefinite article. Thus, davar may be translated as word or a word. The definite article in Hebrew is the letter he as a prefix to a word. And the article is pointed as follows. Normally it will have the pathak. And when it says it does not have an indefinite article, that just means like a or an. In English, we have the indefinite article, an apple, a house. In Hebrew, it just doesn't have it. So if it lacks the article, it might be implied that it's a house or a word, or it might just be word or house. You kind of have to just tell by the context. Okay. So, a few examples. Sus, Jesus.
Jesus.
It's not the sh sound, it's the s. Jesus. You pronounced it hashush, but it is Jesus. Like the S sound.
Jesus. I just cannot tell the difference. Can you say it again slowly?
Yes. You pronounce hashush, but it is Jesus. 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 So it is not. So it is not. It is not. It is not. It is.
Jesus.
Okay. So yeah, this is the word. This is the letter samek. So it is just pronounced as just an S sound. It's just.
Yes. Not the shin.
Right.
I see.
Okay. Okay. Next one we have melek, hamelek.
Melek, hamelek.
Davar, hadavar.
Davar, hadavar.
Okay. So when the article he is placed before a word with ordinary letters, it is usually pointed with a pathak plus the dagesh forte in the following letter. So note that in each of these examples, they have the dagesh forte in the middle of the letter, that little dot.
Yes.
Okay. So they do.
I'm sorry. That's the last word davar, because the word dalet itself has dot, has the dagesh. So the dagesh from the definite article, like you don't put two, right? It become one dagesh.
It is just the one dagesh. So it is hadavar. So
Hadavar.
it has the hard pronunciation because of that. But with the beged kefet letters, be, gimel, dalet, kaf, he, and tav, the beged kefet letters, they will harden in pronunciation. So it hardens rather than davar, it is davar. When it has the, well, actually, it's always davar, but with the article he before it, it will take a dagesh in the next letter. Okay, so when the article is placed on a word beginning with aleph, ayin, or resh, the pointing is ha, ha, the he kamets. The gutturals produced in the throat refuse the dagesh forte, and the pathak, the short A class vowel a, lengthens to kamets, long A class vowel a. So it lengthens from a to a, pathak to kamets.
Kamets, yeah.
This length compensates for the loss of the dagesh forte in the following letter. So these letters cannot take the dagesh. So to make up for that, the vowel sound lengthens from a to a. So that's why they call that compensatory lengthening. It's compensating for it. So it's making up for it by getting longer. Okay, so examples: Adam, ha'adam.
Avam, avam.
Ha'adam.
Oh, sorry.
Ha'adam.
Adam. Yes. Adam. Yeah, Caleb. Yes. Adam.
Notice in the word ha'adam, right to the left of the kamets is a little line.
Yes.
That called a metheg, and it has it in the letter B next to it, and it has a footnote here. The vertical stroke by the kamets beneath the article is a metheg, a bridle, like for a horse. It indicates a pause by the reader in pronouncing the word. It appears on the second syllable before the accented syllable. So basically, this is letting you know that it's not something like hadam, hadam, or something. It's ha'adam. So you have a little pause.
Adam. Yes. Metak.
Next, av, ha'av.
Ha'av.
Okay. Rosh, harosh.
Rosh, harosh. Harosh.
Okay, next page. When the article is placed on a word beginning with he or kith, the vowel pathak is unchanged, even though the dagesh forte is rejected. In pronunciation, one cannot discern whether or not the letters are doubled. That's the doubling dot. Thus, they are said to be doubled by implication, also called virtual doubling. So these are just kind of some terms. Basically, the pronunciation doesn't change, and these letters do not take the dot.
Yep.
So we have koshek and hakoshek.
Koshek, hakoshek.
Very good. That's darkness and the darkness. So it does not take the doubling dot, the dagesh forte. When the article is placed before a word beginning with an unaccented ha or a, he kamets or ayin kamets, the vowel beneath the he is segol. In the case of ha, hith kamets, the vowel is segol, whether the syllable is accented or unaccented. So the example they have is dust, afar, he afar.
Avar, he avar.
It's not avar, but afar.
Oh, yeah.
F sound.
Yes, sorry.
He
Afar,
afar.
he afar.
Very good. Okay. So,
sorry, I have a question about this.
Mhm.
So, with he with kamets and ayin with kamet, the vowel beneath
Right.
he is segol.
Right.
In the case of how about I see. So this is the word with, if the word start with the consonant Kamets or ayin with kamets, right?
Right, right.
So,
Yeah,
oh no,
we'll take the.
with oh yeah, with segol. Okay, I understand. Sorry, I just missed it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I feel like this one is a little bit tricky. But yeah, it's if it just starts with ha or ah, unaccented, which is normally the case, it will take he rather than ha or ha. And if it starts with ha, the kef, then it doesn't matter if it's accented or not. It's going to take the segol.
Segol.
Okay, so these are just kind of some rules for how the article works. Um, in reading it, you'll just sort of see that there's this segol there. But it's good to kind of know what's going on with it.
Mm.
A few commonly used nouns are irregular in that they have vowel changes when the article is added. So these ones are exceptions to the rule. We have edits,
Eres,
haaretz,
eres, haaretz.
had, hahar, had,
Har,
hahar.
har, hahar.
The first one, had,
Oh yeah. Har, hahar.
hahar. Excellent. The next is am, haam.
Am, haam.
And finally, gan, hagan.
Gan, hagan.
The first one is gan,
Oh yeah.
gan,
Gan,
hagan.
hagan. Oh yes, hagan. Yep.
Right. And notice here, this, I don't know that this is a rule or anything, but you can just kind of notice that all of these changes are lengthening from short vowel sounds to long vowel sounds. So from edit to aret, from had to har, am to gan to gan. So from a to a, and from e to a. So from short to long.
Short to long one. Yeah.
Um, that's just something you can note here. And that may not be a hard rule or anything, but with these words, that's just kind of what happens. Okay, so in summary, ha dagesh, bethek dagesh, before words that begin with letters other than the gutturals and the resh. Ha before aleph, ayin, or resh because of compensatory lengthening. Ha before he or keth, which are doubled by implication, and he before unaccented ha or a, and accented or accented ka. This is kind of a little summary chart. So if you want to sort of review these rules, you could just use this little chart and maybe copy it down and sort of work through that, because this basically is giving you all the information in a condensed form.
Yes.
Okay, let's go through the vocabulary. I'll read through the first ones up to av, and I'll let you do the next ones. So you can repeat after me at first, and then I'll let you do the next ones.
Yes.
Adam, Adam.
Adam.
Okay.
Boker.
Erev, Erev.
Erev.
Or, or.
Or.
Melek,
Melek. Melek.
Av, Av.
Av. Av.
Koshek, Koshek.
Koshek. Koshek.
Afar, Afar.
Avar. Avar.
Layela, Layela.
Lai. Lai. Do you read the Siva?
Yes. In this case, you do. But this is kind of an exception.
I see. Laila.
Okay. had, had,
had,
hahar, hahar.
haha, haha, haha.
Oh, I went through all of them. I'm sorry. I was.
You want me to pronounce that back again from the beginning, and you like, and you like
Yeah.
tell me if it is right or wrong?
Yeah, that's good. Let's do that.
Okay, I'll start from the beginning. Adam,
Okay.
boker, boker.
The emphasis on the first syllable.
Oh yes, that makef, right?
In this
No?
case, it's not called a makef, but I'm not actually sure what the term for that is, but it's an accent mark.
Okay, yep. So, boker,
Yes.
eref,
The accent mark again, the first syllable has the emphasis.
eref, like that.
Good.
Or,
Good.
melek,
Melek.
melek. Oh yes.
Right.
Can you pronounce for me? Maybe I'm just confused. I'm not confused really, but maybe I think I'm lack of practicing the emphasizing of the syllable. So if you
Takes some getting.
I see.
I just say it takes getting used to. It is pronounced. I'll go through the ones with the accent marks on them. On the left-hand column, we have boker and erev. In the middle column, we have melek and koshek. And in the last column, layela. So that's just where the accent falls. It's not something you normally think about just when you're speaking normally. Like you don't think, oh, where does the accent fall on this word? Like you just talk. But with Hebrew, they wouldn't have thought of it either that way. But just these markings are just kind of to let us know. At first, people wouldn't have needed the accent marks because they just worded just like we learned, just like you learned Indonesian and like I learned English as our first languages. We didn't have to be taught, here's where the emphasis falls. But because biblical Hebrew is no longer spoken, they have these accent marks that let us know. But yeah, it's just kind of a new thing to sort of focus on. So don't worry about that. You'll get used to it.
Okay.
So you can pick up. I think let's pick back up at Melek.
Okay. Melek. Mel. Up.
Okay.
Kosek. Kosek.
The emphasis.
Kosek. Yeah. Kosek. Mel. Yes. Avar.
Afar.
Afar. Var.
Yes. I think you're wanting to pronounce the pe as a V sound, but it is pronounced as an F sound. So it's not avar, but afar.
Afar. Yeah, and this is the problem with Indonesian pronunciation. It's hard for us to distinguish F and V. So sometimes we are mixed up with that. But yeah, I think we need to do practice with that. Yeah. Afar.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a thing that'll just happen with, it depends on what language you're coming from. Where like English has its own problems trying to come to a different language, and all the different languages will have things like that.
Yes.
But yeah, that's good to know.
Okay.
Okay.
Laila.
That's close. Remember, this is the pathak, so it's pronounced a.
Yeah. Laila.
Get close. This one is layala.
Laila.
La, ye, la. Layala.
La yela. Oh yes, you
Very
you
good.
say it. It's not.
Yeah, this
It's not the
the
Shiva.
Shiva
Yeah.
is
Okay. Yela. La yela. Is that right?
yes.
Hak. Har. um.
Remember the
Nice.
Pathak sound.
Yeah. Har. Har.
Good.
Yeah. Har. And this
Very
one.
good.
Rosh.
Yes. Rosh. Very good. Okay. Excellent. And yeah, and don't worry about sort of issues with like the accent or that kind of stuff, because you will get used to that. And we're going to start focusing on learning some of this vocabulary. But
Mhm.
for the next quiz, I'm going to include some vocabulary on it.
Okay.
And that will just be taken from these. So you can use like flashcards or whatever, and just kind of start learning some of these vocabulary.
Mhm.
This book, I think, does a good job at giving Hebrew vocabulary, because these are some of the really common words that you're going to see a lot when you go to the Old Testament. So it gives you kind of a good foundation, so you don't have to go look up every single word all the time. You just sort of have a base knowledge of it.
Mm.
Okay. I'm going to let you do these ones on your own. If we have time, we might go back, I guess. But and if you have any questions, you can always email me, or we can set up a video call, and we can talk about stuff on other days besides just Tuesday. If you want to do that, that's fine.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you can just let me know. Okay. So any questions about this lesson then, or do you feel like we're good right now?
When you told me about the thing that I need to do on my own, is that the exercise and with
Right. Just these two exercises on page 10.
I
This
think
one you will just translate into English. So you can just translate these phrases to English. And I'm pretty sure that the English one, it wants you to write that in Hebrew. And these lists they should cover all the same terms. So it's almost
yeah.
like a word bank. I haven't checked completely, but I'm pretty sure these are exactly the same terms in Hebrew and then in English. So this just kind of will get you thinking about it, sort of starting from Hebrew and moving to English, and starting from English and then moving to Hebrew. So that's just kind of a good. So I'll let you do that one on your own. Any other questions from this lesson?
This is just a. I think you scan this page is bit cut off in the top of the paper.
Okay.
Only the first in the right hand side of the column.
It's only you can only see that. That's all that's visible. You mean?
Oh no, I mean I can see all but the number one in Hebrew. The first words, the dust probably. Yeah, it's bit cut
You want me
by.
to make a copy?
I probably just this page if you don't mind, so I can send to Pak Agung as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
I'll
later.
do that for you. Yeah, I should be able to send you that sometime later today. Of course, for you it'll be tomorrow.
Yes.
But for me it'll be today. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out to me. Yeah, anytime that there's a technical thing like that, just let me know. I'll try my best to fix that for you guys.
Yes.
Okay. Lesson 7. We'll just kind of preview the next few lessons. I believe for the next class period, I don't have the syllabus in front of me right now, but I think we're wanting to do at least lessons 7 and 8, and maybe a little bit more than that. But we'll just kind of go over this right now. Nouns and adjectives. Do you have lessons 7 and 8? Have I sent you that?
You only send me a part of lesson 7.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll just sort of go through it a little bit then, and we won't get into it very much. And I'll send you the next lessons later today. Masculine singular nouns have no special ending, but the feminine forms are usually recognized by the ending a, kamets,
Ah.
he.
Comments head.
This ending draws the accent over to itself. It will be accented. Observe the following. Sus,
Sus,
susa,
susa, susa.
navi, nvia, navi, nvia.
Navi, navia.
Okay.
Ah,
Ish, isha, ish, isha.
Ish, isha.
Okay. And one thing I'll point out here that this is kind of getting like an extra syllable at the end. So it's adding that a and it's emphasized. And at the beginning of the word, things are reducing. So instead of na vi, it is nu via. So it reduces from kamets to shiva.
To
It
Sheva.
gets shorter.
Ah,
And the same thing basically happens in the word for man. Ish changes to isha. So instead of ish, we have isha. So I changes to I. It gets shorter.
eliminate the yacht.
Right. And it changes
Hirek,
from hirek yod to just plain hirek.
Just plain hirek, yeah.
Okay, so that's just kind of something to note. That will happen a lot in Hebrew, where if you kind of add on to the word, the first part of it will shorten. The vowel sounds will get shorter.
Okay.
Masculine and feminine adjectives have the same characteristic as nouns. They have the same a ending if they're feminine. Tov, tova.
Tov, tova.
Gadol, godola.
Can you say it again, the second one? It's a bit cut off.
Godola.
Kadol, gudola.
Okay. Ra, ra.
Ra, raha, ra.
And this one is, I don't know if it's exactly an exception, but in the case of re, the vowel actually gets longer. It changes from a to a.
To
So this kind
yeah.
of. Okay, and last, hakam, hakama.
Hakam, hakama.
Yes. Okay, so it changes
Okay.
from a wise one to a female wise one.
Female, hakama.
It just adds the a in a lot of languages. Well, I don't know about a lot necessarily, but I know that in Spanish they have the a ending as feminine. Do you have in Indonesian a feminine ending for words?
No, we
No?
all this just one gender.
Okay. It's the same in English. Gender is a new concept for English learners when they come to different languages. But we have a few in English, like we have tiger and tigress,
Tigress, yeah.
prophet and prophetess, things like that, prince, princess. But for the most part, we don't have gender either. But yeah, usually it will just be a. Okay, so the plurals. Masculine and feminine plural nouns and adjectives have special endings. The masculine plural
sorry.
ending is
I don't have that paper in here.
right. Okay. We'll just leave this one off, and I'll send you the video for this one.
Oh yes.
By Thursday.
Okay.
Possibly sooner than that. I'm gonna aim for at least Thursday. So you can go through these and I'll send you the next pages. So I guess we can go back. Why don't we go through a few of the exercises on page 10?
Yes.
And then we'll just sort of finish up with that. Sound good?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. So the first one is Adam, Ha'adam. We're wanting to translate these into English. So I'll go ahead and do the first one. It says man, a man. Okay.
Okay.
So the
Second
next one is boker, haboker. How would you
Okay.
translate that to English?
Boker, boker. Morning in the morning.
Yes, excellent. Number 3 is erev, ha'erev. What would that be?
Erev, ha'erev. The dust.
That's close. They look similar. This one is evening, the evening.
Yes. Erev.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can look back at the vocab list if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next one. Or, ha'or.
Or, ha'or. This is light, the light.
Very good. Next one is layela, halayela.
Layela, halayela. This is night,
Very good. Melek, hamelek.
Melek, hamelek. Hang on, brother. I need to open the door for my wife. Just for a second.
That's
Sorry.
good.
I love you. Where we're up to, Melek.
Yeah, I think we were on melek.
Melek,
How'd you?
Melek. This king, the king.
Very good. Number 7, av, ha'av.
Ha'av. Ha'av. This is dust, the dust.
This one is father, the father.
Yes. Av, yeah. Abraham. yeah. Av, ha'av.
Number 8, koshek, hakoshek.
Koshek, hakoshek. This is darkness, the darkness.
Yes. Okay. Number 9, afar, ha'afar.
Avar, avar, avar. Avar. What is this? Avar. Oh, this is the dust?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the dust. Dust, the dust. And lastly, had, hahar.
Har, haha. Har, haha. This is mountain, the mountain.
Okay, excellent. Okay, let's go through the English ones. And again, you can look back at the vocab. Number 1, dust, the dust.
Dust, the dust is avar, avar, avar.
Okay, excellent. Number 2, man, the man.
And the man. Atam, Adam.
Adam, ha-adam.
Adam, Adam, yes.
Right.
Adam, yeah.
Okay. 3, mountain, the mountain.
Har, hahar.
Okay, very good. Evening, the evening.
Erev, ha'erev. Ha'erev.
Yes. Morning, the morning.
Boker, haboker.
Okay. King, the king.
Mel, Melek, Hamelek.
Okay, that one is Melek
Oh,
Hamelek.
Melek, Hamelek. Melek, Melek, yes. Melek, Hamelek.
Okay, good. Father, the father.
Av, Haav.
Good. Darkness, the darkness.
What's the darkness? Oh, Kosek, HaKosek.
Very good. 9, light, the light.
Or, Haor.
Good. Night, the night.
La, Layila, Halayila.
That was good articulation, but the emphasis is at the is on the la.
La,
So layela, halayela.
Layila, Halayila. Okay. Bit more. To keep
All right.
practicing it. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Okay, that's very good. And you can do the exercises on these. We already went through the exercises, so you can just use those then for kind of practice if you want to.
Mhm.
And the quiz should cover, and it won't be for next week because next week should be the fall break. So you can just kind of use that for just to take a break, or you can review, or you can look ahead, just whatever you want to do, whatever you feel like is most helpful to you. If taking a complete break, that's perfectly good. Okay, I'm trying to think anything else that I want to mention. Do you have any other questions about this lesson or anything else?
If you go to where was it? For noun and an adjective from masculine to feminine.
Mhm.
So when you say, for example, the word eres, so I think it's very helpful when you say it's one of the way you can remember when you can when you convert the masculine to feminine is to shorten the vowel. Would that be the case for all words or just in it, but or it's only specific words have the tendency to shorten the vowel?
I think that this one, the next lesson, we'll talk about that a little bit more, but basically, they will tend to get shorter at the beginning of the word, but there are some vowels that will not get shorter no matter what. So, for example, with the word sus,
Swoosh,
for
yeah.
one thing, it's short. It'll only ever be 2 syllables. So it starts out as 1 syllable, sus. And then if you change it to feminine, it'll be 2 syllables, susa. That's not really
Susa.
long enough. That's not really long enough to merit shortening the vowels at the beginning. Does that kind of make sense? Like if it's only 2 syllables, they basically won't get shorter. It's not
I
like
see.
it's not long enough.
That's
It's almost like you're trying.
Sorry, that's basically the same, isn't it? Sush and Susa.
Yes,
I mean,
it doesn't change.
doesn't change yet.
Also, with the word for sus, the shurek, that u sound, it's not going to change anyway. So there's 2 reasons why sus does not change. One is it's because it only has 2 syllables, so that's not going to change. It's not going to shorten. And 2, it has an unshortening vowel, where shurek does not shorten, holem does not shorten, and sere yod does not shorten.
So yeah, all long.
O, e will not shorten, no matter what, I think. I don't think there's any exceptions to those.
Okay.
But they are, I think that referred to something like unshortening vowels or something like that, but they will not get shortened. It's almost like you're trying to get to the last syllable. And if there's a bunch of syllables beforehand, then you kind of make them shorter. Like you don't want to pronounce them the long way. Like you're just trying to get there. So like if it has 3 syllables, that's long enough to shorten. So instead
Okay.
of Navi is prophet, Nuvia. So it changes from Navi to
Na,
Nuvia.
Navi.
Uh,
Nvia. Yes.
Right. So does that kind of make sense? Like it's if it's 3 syllables or more, then you can have some shortening at the beginning.
Okay.
So
Yes.
that kind of explains what's going on. Like if you go and if you look at a word in Hebrew and you're like, well, the dictionary says that it's spelled this way, it has these vowels. But then if you conjugate it and you change it and it has more syllables, and it changes the vowel pointing, it changes to Shiva or something like that, then that's what's happening because of this principle that
Mm.
vowel sounds can shorten if you have several syllables, like 3 or more syllables. Does that kind
Yes.
of help?
Yes.
But the main thing with the feminine
Mhm.
is it ends in ah.
Ah,
It has that
comments and
comments.
head.
That's the main way you're going to recognize it.
Oh, yes, yes.
You going to
And
say something?
sorry, one more question. You see in the word is, it's turned into isha.
Right.
It has a dagesh on shin. Why is that so?
Yes. Okay, so it changes from ish to isha. The dagesh forte in the shin compensates for the loss of yod. You see that at the
Ah,
bottom of
yes,
the,
yes, yes.
it's got a footnote explaining that one.
Okay,
So
okay.
sometimes the dagesh, if it shows up, it's also compensating for something. Something else is gone, so the dagesh appears. Um, so that's just kind of a principle in Hebrew almost, where it's like you'll have compensation. If there
From
would
your.
normally be yod, it might be that there's a dagesh. So with the letter nun, the letter for in, nun,
Mhm.
sometimes it'll do that too. Like if there's normally a nun, but this conjugation takes away the nun, you'll often see a dagesh as compensating for the loss of it. And then vowels will also change. Um, is like if there's too many syllables. This is kind of something that you expect in Hebrew.
Okay, so that's basically from what is that? Hirek yod into just plain hirek.
Yes, from Hirek Yod to plain Hirek. And to compensate for the loss of Yod, we have the Dagesh,
I
the
guess.
Shin.
Yes. Okay, makes sense.
Okay, excellent. Good question. Okay. Any other questions? Or anything else you want
Uh,
to talk about?
oh yeah, probably when you make video, you can give us like an exercise like this so that we can work. I don't know. Perhaps you can like put it on the board, and then we can write and then pronounce it, and then we can repeat it again. And just to clarify, so next week we will have break. Is that what you were saying?
I haven't looked at this syllabus just now, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Yeah. Okay.
I'll see to it as
Uh,
well.
Today is October 20th. So for Thursday, lessons 8, 9, and 19, we're going to look at those. And we have a preview for lessons 10 and 11. So basically, I'll just encourage you to just sort of take a look at lessons 10 and 11. I'll send those to you. And you don't have to do all the exercises or anything in those for that day, but you can just kind of start looking forward to it. October 27th and 29th, that Tuesday and Thursday, we won't
Yes.
meet. We won't have classes.
Okay.
That'll just be a fall break. And you can use that for review or looking ahead or just taking a break.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Okay, good question. Any other questions or anything that's a good note on the exercises. I'll try and include something like that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, brother.
Okay. If you don't have any other questions, and you can still think about it, I have also been working on. I remember Agung. Uh, he mentioned he wanted to do some songs, so I've been working on getting a song ready. I tried to find some stuff online, and
Mhm.
I couldn't really find a lot of biblical Hebrew songs.
Mhm.
There might be some for contemporary Hebrew, but I've worked up one for the Shema, which is like, "Hear, O Israel,
Oh
the Lord
yeah,
our God, the Lord is one.
Deuteronomy 6.
Love the
Yeah.
Lord your God with your heart, with all your soul, with all your might." Um, so I've worked up a song for that. It's to the tune of "This is the day that the Lord has made." So I don't know if you've heard that one or not. It's "This
This is
is
the
the day."
day. This is the day of the Lord. Yes. Yes.
Right. Okay. So I've worked up that one. I'll go ahead and share that with you now, just sort of concluding.
Yes, please.
It is in Deuteronomy. I believe it's Deuteronomy 6,
6. Yes,
9.
exactly. 6:9.
Okay, so and I will try to have all that ready, and I'll probably make a video just with that song and just sort of going through it and
Mhm.
explaining it. I have it written out here. I haven't put the vowel pointings,
Oh yeah.
but this is just the,
Yes.
and I might kind of mess it up a little bit, but I'll go ahead and share that with you. Um, so it should be something like Shema Yisrael, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך, ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך. בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. So it'll be like that, and I'll explain it in the video when I send that to you, and I'll go through it and everything. But basically, this is exactly from the text of Scripture. So you will also be memorizing a kind of like a Hebrew memory verse at the same time as doing the song. So hopefully that will be helpful for you guys. So you can look forward to that probably on Thursday or maybe Friday. We'll
Yes.
try and get that ready. Okay, very good. And I think that about covers it. So any other questions or anything?
No, so far. So I'm
Okay.
just gonna, yeah, I really enjoyed this today, and I recorded this and I upload it in my YouTube so that Agung can watch this as well. So you don't
excellent.
mind if I put this in YouTube?
No, I don't mind. That's good.
Okay, thank you, brother.
Okay, very good. I guess I will see you guys not next week, but the one after that. And you can look forward to the videos and to a quick fall break from the studies as well.
Yes.
So I'm really enjoying the class. This is a real blessing for me. I love doing all this. So I'm glad that we're getting to do this.
Thank you. I'm really blessed. Really blessed. Thank you for. I just enjoy it. I know this is difficult. Use a lot of energy, but I'm excited. So yeah, I really enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you so much, brother.
You have a good night, and I will see you guys later.
Yes. Bye bye. Good night. Good morning for you.
Yeah. Good night for you, and good morning.
God bless.